guys, what's up? It's Katy Candy and the Droker here with another episode of From Comics to Cinemas podcast. For those of you who don't know, we are gamers on Twitch, and you can see the links to those channels in the description of this video and at the end of the video. So be sure to drop us a follow. Remember, you can catch the live recording of the show every Tuesday at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Why can I never say that? In the Candyland Discord.
Words are hard, guys. It's just buckle up, all right? Just buckle up. Here we go.
Oh boy, and we've got an interesting podcast tonight because the Morbius movie was just released, and Droker and I both saw it, or we thought we were seeing a movie about Morbius, but
allegedly we saw Morbius.
I mean, we saw a guy that looked like Morbius.
Yeah, I guess.
Who was named Morbius.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
I feel like this was like a cheesy sci-fi channel vampire movie.
Actually, yeah, that's actually a good description. That's a good way to put it, to be honest with you.
It was just, I really don't know what I watched.
Yeah, I think I made a comment in your Discord after we watched it. I was like, it was Morbius by Play School. Like, it just felt very simple, basic, generic, just bland. Vanilla would be, I guess, the word that comes to mind for it. Like, very just vanilla kind of superhero movie.
Yeah,
great for kids. I guess.
I mean, I guess maybe. I don't even know like how to feel for it, except like I liked the first Suicide Squad movie more than I liked this movie, and I hated that movie. So I feel like that was a better movie, and I don't know how to feel about that. Like, is this what DC fans feel like all the time?
Welcome to the club. Yeah, you're getting the Warner Brothers treatment. Yeah. Spider-Man is the new Batman. He is. He's the new. You're gonna get so many versions of him, and they're not all gonna be good. They can't all be winners. So welcome to our side. Come, stay a while.
Like, they got certain things right about Morbius, right? They got the fatal blood condition, that he has, and how he's trying to do anything to cure himself rather, and they kind of got the experiment right, but like what I didn't like was, and I might be nitpicking, I'll admit it, but I don't understand why they didn't add in his best friend from the comics, Nikos.
Yeah, that was a pretty big omission.
It was.
They got Grease right. They got that right too. Sorry, I'm just trying to find the good things to throw out because there's not a whole lot of them, guys.
There's really not. I'm not gonna lie. I'm gonna be a bit of a negative Nancy here. Like, they could have easily done that, right? Because they inserted this guy Milo, who was his best friend growing up, but like in the comics, he's got Nikos, who's his best friend because his mom wouldn't let him out of the house, but him and Nikos would sneak out at night. They go off to college together. They study biochemistry together. So it's kind of like, and Nikos is on the ship when he does the experiment, and he doesn't want him to do the experiment, and then Morbius kills Nikos. So like, I feel like that would have been, even though it's directly from the comics, I feel like that being put in there would have been a better start to the movie than what we got, to be honest. At least
something to latch onto, something familiar to latch onto. I mean, granted, it was a very similar, but like you're kind of like wondering who the hell is this guy?
Right.
And some people were saying that, Milo was a cross of Emil and Hunger from the comics. And that's kind of like what they merged into whatever Milo was. And I mean, I guess, but it's like Alfred, right? Like, you always get an Alfred. Like, I feel like Emil's like always in the origin, right? So like, just keep him. Just why change? Why do the adaptation for that one? At least give people like me who like really don't know a whole lot about it, give me some bearing to latch onto. Like, all right, cool. I know this is familiar. I don't know. It was weird.
It was very weird. And then like the whole Martine death scene, like, she is murdered in the comics, but she is brought back to life later. So I don't know, but okay, we're kind of jumping around a lot. I want to talk about this villain first, and the Ric Flair, woo! Like,
I've never been so triggered by random woos in my entire life. I don't know if it's like maybe it's because I'm old and I just don't like people just wooing for no reason. But like, I don't.
Wait, you don't like drunk woo girls at the bar? Because
there was at least 2 or 3 times where he was just woo, and I'm like, why are you doing that? Hello? What's happening?
I don't really understand why they made him the villain. Like, I feel like they could have easily come up with a better villain, like Dr. Payne, right? Like, I feel like Dr. Payne would be a better one because Dr. Payne is, like, interested in Morbius's pseudo-vampire state, because Morbius technically isn't a real vampire, technically. He's not a vampire like Dracula or, like, how we know them.
Vampire, yeah.
So, like, I feel like this would have been a better villain than what we got. Like, it was just, him as a villain was rough. And he really had no depth. Like, he was basically the anti-version of Morbius. Morbius was like, don't do it. I'm not going to give it to you. I don't want you to become a monster like me, right?
I'm gonna do it. Like, that's literally what happened. Like,
and then he just does it and then basically frames Morbius for a bunch of killings. Like, this could have been predicted from a mile away.
Yeah, like I said, it was so simple. Like, I mean, like I said, maybe for like kids to like, it's easy to follow. That again, maybe that's another silver. It's easy to follow. I'll tell you that much because it ain't too deep. It ain't. They really just kind of kept it on the surface.
They really kind of did. Like, I don't really understand, but I mean, like, it kind of blew my mind when we were watching it. Just like the sheer, I'm gonna say something really bad here, but like, I feel like this was written by like an exec's teenage child that was like, yeah, let me have a go at it, mom or dad. Like, let's go. And then they were like, this is good, son or daughter. Like, let's totally make this into a movie. It'll be fine.
Yeah. Yeah, it has that. Yeah, you're right. Yeah. Yeah. It was so disappointing because I was really looking forward to Morbius for since hearing about it, to be honest with you. And I was really excited to see how they were going to connect it. And then it just like, man, did it fall short and flat and just horrific, and just made everything else that I didn't like about the MCU seem so much better in comparison.
It was like, I think I even said like Howard the Duck was a better Marvel movie.
I mean, it even made me appreciate WandaVision, and how you guys have heard me rag about that a lot. Like, I was like, oh, yeah, those guys at WandaVision, yeah, maybe I've been too harsh on them because it could have been worse. Like, I was unaware. I didn't think it's a rough watch. There was far and few between that. I feel like it was like what, an hour and 40 minutes. It was like barely 90 minutes of a movie. Like it was like a made for TV movie, like you said, for sci-fi. That's what it felt like, honestly.
It really it really felt like that, because like, and I've never been thankful for a movie to be shorter than what it actually was, because like, it was very painful sitting through that.
Oh yeah, the bat radar, the echolocation pulse too.
Like,
you telling me you didn't like that?
Doof, doof, doof. That's exactly what it was. Like, I feel like I get it. They're trying to show echolocation, right?
Yeah.
But
yeah.
I feel like they've never really researched anything on echolocation. I don't know. Like, it was
they ripped it straight out of the Nolan Batman movies. That was what Bruce did to find Joker. That's what it reminded me of. I was like, yeah, I already did this, and it was bad then too. It's like nobody pay attention to that. I thought that was stupid from those movies too. I was like, really? You turn the cell phones into an echolocation device? That's because plot reasons, right? And then I saw this in this Morbius movie, and I was like, look, there it is again. But it's a whole person doing it this time.
Doof, doof.
Pulsing outward. And then the whole cheesy thing of, I don't know what it is with bat-related characters and walking into a glass tube of bats or a chamber of bats, but we get it. Like, you're dark, you're edgy, you like bats. We don't need to see that. We don't need. Nobody cares, dude. Nobody, like, you emo boy. Like, we get it, Jared Leto, but come on, it was so cheesy. Oh, they're my friends. Like, oh, God, really?
And the writing, like when he's in jail being questioned and he's like, I'm getting hungry. You wouldn't like me when I'm hungry. And I'm like, did you just rip off the Hulk?
It ripped off the Hulk. And
I get it. You're trying to be funny, but like, I don't, it was like along the same writing of like Venom 2 that just like sucked for me, because Venom 2 acted like a buddy cop series. Was
right.
I'm not even going to get into Venom 2 because that'll make my blood boil too.
They're the same universe. It's confirmed there. Yeah.
Yeah,
it is. Same thing.
Oh yeah. I'm Venom? Get out of here with that. When he said that.
That was just, that was forced. That was forced. It wasn't even clever. Like, you could see it coming from a mile away because he was like stuttering, like, because he asked him, he's like, who are you? And it's like, oh, say hi. Okay, he said, I am Venom. Shut up. Like, it's cheesy. It's lazy and cheesy.
It was basically like, like they wanted confirmation. They wanted to confirm and solidify that this is the universe that Venom is in, so that they've got Venom and Morbius in the same universe, and that was how they were gonna do it.
Message received. Yeah, message absolutely received. And there was another Easter egg in one of the panning shots where we saw, I think it was Horizon Labs.
Yeah.
Which in the comics is like Peter Parker's like little lab where he does research, and like Morbius does research there as well. And even like that, which I think that was kind of like what's the word I'm looking for, like a reference to like the whole Spider-Man thing where he's in Kurt Connor's beach house researching because he gets like 6 arms because Peter Parker just doesn't know when to stop sciencing. Is that a word? Whatever.
I say it.
He's a nerd, and he kind of messed up there. So I thought that was kind of cool, at the very least. But like, it was very, very, like, maybe a nod would probably be the term I would use. A nice little nod to that little like story, I guess.
I still can't even give it a nod.
I mean, because that would, it's just. I'm trying, man. I'm trying. I'm trying.
I just feel like they could have done so much better in so many different ways. Like, they could have given him so much more character development. They could have chosen a different villain with less wooing. I mean, like
less Ric Flair, more vampire stuff. He looked like he was having a good time, at least whoever that actor's name was. He looked like he was having the time of his life playing that wooing vampire villain.
It just just felt like they were mirror opposites of each other, right?
Absolutely.
And it's like, it's so redundant where you have the jealous friend, right? We've seen this so many times where you see the jealous friend that becomes the villain, and then the hero has to kill him, and then is like kind of sad because he killed his friend and his friend turned all dark and da-da-da-da-da. And I just feel like Sony could have done a lot better They should have done better, because Morbius is such a good character. Like, he's been in so many different things. Like, he's been in Midnight Suns, and this is what makes me sad, is because we're probably not going to see him in Midnight Suns. Like, and I would love to see, like, the Siege of Darkness, where Morbius is possessed by the Lilith Bloodthirst, but we'll probably never see that, because...
We might, but they might screw it up.
They could. I mean, if they would do it, there's so many of those characters that are owned by Marvel, by Disney. So I feel like it would be okay, but I also feel like it's probably not going to happen.
Well, who owns Lilith? Is Sony? We should probably look at that, because that I feel like Sony would own something like that, and they would, because like in the comics, that's like a common theme, that whole Lilith interaction.
Oh yeah, he gets possessed times. Like a couple times.
Yeah, it goes on murderous rampages. Mm-hmm. It's a common thing, and I it was like, oh, if Sony owns, I guess, the rights, then I guess maybe we will see it, but not the way we want to.
I want to say that Sony doesn't own Lilith, because that's more of Midnight Suns, and a lot of those are more Marvel based, but I could be wrong, because you know how these companies own different characters but don't, so
and like I said before, we were talking after we saw the movie, I feel like this puts a kibosh in anything that we've hoped for in the past related to Werewolf by Night or Moon Knight or Blade. It
100% does, and that's the sad thing too, is because Morbius is really good friends with Jack Russell, who is Werewolf by Night, who we're getting this fall.
We are getting, but we're not. If there's a tie-in, it's going to be confusing as hell. That's all I'm going to say.
I kind of feel like, like I'm sure Kevin Feige saw this and was probably like, WTF.
I would actually love to see his reaction video of him watching this movie. I really would, especially the post credits scenes. I would love to see his reaction.
All right, first off, what's up, Doc?
So yeah, Bugs Bunny exists also in the Sony Marvelverse. That's fun, in case you didn't know. And it's also Michael Keaton, who apparently is just everybody nowadays.
Listen.
What the hell, man?
Listen. I'm going to say one thing, and I'm going to say it very directly.
Uh-oh.
That was not how the spell worked.
There it is. Yeah. But the one exception, no, I agree. That made no damn sense. That's not, literally, Doctor Strange explains how it works, and that's not how it works.
Everybody got sent back to their respective universes. Why they would pull in Vulture like that? Why not just make him a variant? Like, hello?
Yeah, there was a theory from a video I saw too that says that maybe he was originally from that universe and somehow he got drawn in at some point to the MCU verse, which, okay, maybe that's a stretch, maybe, but no, I don't believe it.
I'm not buying that. I'm not buying that. And then the second thing, how did he get that suit so fast? He got all this stuff to make that suit from the
from the MCU verse, from Shatari,
yes.
Yeah. So and then also he's like, oh, it's Spider-Man's fault, but don't the people in that, they don't know of Spider-Man, like, right, because of the spell or whatever?
Well, they don't know Peter Parker is Spider-Man. Spider-Man still exists.
Yeah, but... so Vulture, and Morbius was like, okay, makes sense to me. Like, what? You didn't even question it, bro? Oh no, what did he say? He said intriguing.
Yes.
Yeah, that's how it ends. He meets him. He meets Vulture in the desert. He's like, "Man, you want to do some good? Let's do a team up. Yay! High five!" And that's not how it happened, but it might as well have. And yeah, it was just so cheesy and just.
Meanwhile, Venom. When Venom gets snapped over there, right? This symbiote with hive mind from like knowledge from across like universes is like, what is happening, right?
Yeah.
What is going on? No. Vulture. Huh. I hope this place has better food. What? What? I mean, I get it. I get it. Half the population of the entire universe got snapped, got blipped, and then came back 5 years later. I get it. Nothing seems too weird. But going into a different universe, I don't know. I might be a little freaked out. Just saying.
Yeah, he was way too calm. Way too calm. I mean, I'd believe that Michael Keaton would be that calm because, you know, he's Michael Keaton. But I wouldn't believe that the Vulture would be that calm. I feel like he'd be freaking the hell out and be trying to figure out what the heck just happened to him. But I don't.
And like how to get back to where he's originally from.
Right.
Because, he has a family.
Which he cares about, which we were told, but now I guess just whatever. Plot check. We did it, guys. Yay, Sony. We're the best.
I don't know if I'm more mad about the post-credit scenes or the movie itself, to be honest. I think it's an equal tie, but it was like those post-credit scenes were essentially like a big middle finger to everything that Kevin Feige is doing in the MCU, because it's just kind of like, and I get it. Kevin Feige could easily be like, no, this didn't happen, right? Through something, because comics, right? We see stuff like this all the time.
Maybe, but then Sony would probably retcon the retcon.
Oh yeah, that's true.
Because they're Sony and they're pretty much already retconning their own Sinister Six they teased back in like 2013 or whatever.
Oh my god, can we talk about this? Sinister?
Yeah, so we're not even going to get the original Sinister Six. We're going to get some haphazard thrown together Sinister Six that Sony's apparently going to come up with.
They're gonna be the Sinister Six, but they're not the Sinister Six.
They're the unsinister Six. They're the apparently. So the one of the videos I watched was basically explaining that it was going to be Venom, Morbius, Kraven, Vulture, and then I honestly forget the other. There was two more. But that's going to be the Sony verse, and they're going to be anti-heroes and they're going to fight some other big bad that's going to be worse than them, and which is why they came together. And it's like.
But that's
just really, bro. Really, I'd take Paul Giamatti Rhino at this point. I'd take him back and the old Jamie Foxx Lightning. I'd take that back too.
But okay, but listen, doesn't that defeat the whole purpose?
Or Electro. Sorry, Electro.
I
called him Lightning.
You did call him Lightning.
Good Lord.
That's DC. Black Lightning is DC.
I'm glad you connected it. I'm glad we're on the same page, but I am not on the same page as everybody else apparently.
Yes, from the Stone Age too.
Oh God. It's not Vandal Savage, okay? Relax, dude.
Oh man.
All right, there's your Hammerhead moment. Are you happy? There it is. You got it.
Oh my god, I'm dead.
Sorry, continue.
Okay, if they're gonna build an anti-hero Sinister Six, why are they calling it the Sinister Six?
I don't know, bro, because they're looking for I'm trying here. I don't know. I got nothing. It don't make any sense.
I feel like right now, when it comes to the properties that Sony owns, it's like cue Benny Hill music. Because
yes, we love Benny Hill here.
I'm just not understanding it. Like, and they could do such good things here with Morbius. I mean, we could actually see like the first interaction from when Morbius appeared in The Amazing Spider-Man number 101, A Monster Called Morbius by Roy Thomas and Gil Kane, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I think honestly, that would have been a better post-credit scene than the Vulture thing that we got. Because that, honestly, having something, and even if it was Andrew Garfield's Spider-Man, that would have been fantastic, because I'm fairly certain that's the universe that that the Amazing Spider-Man, Andrew Garfield's Spider-Man is going to be in the Venom one, right?
Correct.
So, I think that would have been a better post-credit scene, because number one, it would solidify Andrew Garfield to be making Sony Spider-Man movies, right? That would make Tom Holland be able to appear in the MCU, right? And then you would have that interaction, and it would be a great throwback to the comics where Spider-Man, like you said earlier, has the 4 extra arms and has to fight Morbius, throws him into a bridge. Morbius is knocked unconscious and falls into the river. Like,
that's a good story. Use that.
it would have been a perfect post-credit scene. And
It's a good story.
Instead, we get, what's up, Doc? Like, what?
We get Ric Flair and Bugs Bunny is what we get. And with Jared Leto from 30 Seconds to Mars somehow haphazardly thrown in. Great movie. Jerks. Morons.
And this makes me mad too. This makes me mad too because, all right, listen, as we all know, if you've been listening to the podcast or if you've ever come into any of the streams that we do, you know that I am a big Blade stan, right? I am a big Blade stan. I love Blade. And this is gonna just, I feel like it's gonna throw it all off. Like,
yeah, unless Blade somehow becomes a dimension portal hopper as well, all of a sudden from the MCU, or maybe maybe with America Chavez to team up, but that's the stretch. Yeah, we're not gonna get that. We're not gonna get Legion of Monsters. We're not gonna get. There's a story arc where Morbius and Switchblade fight.
yes.
There's a whole Switchblade arc that we've talked about before that happens with Morbius. That probably not gonna see that. That would have been amazing, but not gonna get that anymore. So if they were just like, hey, you know, all this cool stuff that like Living Mummy, Man Thing, nah, we're good. We're gonna go hang out with Venom and Keaton Vulture and go have a beer and shawarma or something.
Did you just try to copy Avengers?
That's what it's from, isn't it? Yeah, you're right, it is Avengers.
Oh
Honestly,
my
like,
God, that's
something I don't know.
I
dude.
swear to God.
Oh, that's right. At the very end, that's like, you guys want to get shawarma or something?
I swear to God, if they do this Sinister Six and they're all sitting around a table eating shawarma, I'm going to lose my mind, and not in the good way.
The one of the videos I watched, the theory was that this is exactly what they're trying to do. They're trying to build their own like anti-hero Avengers, their Sinister Six, and they're trying to cash in on the whole like group
But
anti-hero
but-
heroes.
but that's just no.
Cool.
There's a reason the Avengers stories work because they are the Avengers, right? And then like I can't. This movie made me so angry. Like
I mean, we're not even wait, because who owns Wolverine? Is that Disney or is that's Sony, right?
no, that was Fox. So
That's
it's Disney.
Fox, so that's owned. That's Disney now. Okay, so now we're not gonna see that. See, there's so many things that are not gonna be connected now because Sony's being dumb, and they were doing so well. They had that Into the Spider-Verse animated movie, which was amazing.
That was
and then
really
they
good.
did the whole cool thing where they're like, hey, we'll let you guys use like Spider-Man for Tom Holland, and that was like really rad of Sony, and like everybody was like, hey, Sony, and everybody was in the good graces, and then they were like, hey, everybody loves us. Here's a steaming pile of poop on a silver platter.
Right. And
Cool. Oh,
and,
wait, it had vampire fangs. That was
okay, first of all right, let's talk about these fangs. All right. You saw the teeth, right? You saw the teeth. They weren't like this. They were like, right?
Yeah.
And okay.
Like Underworld.
Yeah.
It's like Underworld.
They weren't like pretty, just sleek fangs, and they show the bodies with these two perfect little pinpricks in them.
Mm-hmm. As if the whole mouth didn't just rip out a hole, like just like what are those fish? I don't even know. We're going way off topic, but I agree.
Like, I mean, look, even when Buffy did it, right? You saw the rest of the teeth marks. You didn't just see the fangs, and that was a show in the 90s.
In the 90s, yeah. And then the whole like face switching back and forth, like.
Dude, if I like was nervous for anyone that had epilepsy watching that movie. Like, I'm not even kidding.
It reminded me of like a really cheesy like like horror movie from like the early 2000s where like the face is coming out of a TV, but it was actually trying to come out of Jared Leto's face. You know what I mean? Like it was like ah, like trying to break free. It wasn't. It wasn't good, man.
It really wasn't, and it really like hurt my soul, like, because as someone who really enjoys these comics and enjoys like kind of like this vampire lore stuff, except Twilight, that doesn't exist in my mind. Okay, that garbage does not exist in my world. Get out of here with your sparkles. What is that? So dumb.
Hey, he's Bruce Wayne now.
That is true. That is true.
We'll see. But yeah, I agree. It felt rushed. It felt edited and chopped together, which is why I agree with that one thing we were talking about before the show started, where it feels like a Disney exec walked into a screening at one point early on and was like, yeah, we're not being associated with any of this crap. Take all the Spider-Man stuff out of it. Like, because it seems like there were so many references to Spider-Man, but they just never really like, you never really got to like see the actual like connection. It was always like, just like you saw the Daily Bugle, you saw the poster in the background, you saw references, the Venom references and stuff like that. But like, you never really, and it just felt chopped together. There was no cohesive story. And what was with the flying in the subway? Can we talk? What was with that? Like, he just all of a sudden, because like, oh, he's in a like cave, we're gonna have bat fly in a cave. Herder. Like, yeah, A+ writing, guys, good job. What really?
I remember I think you typed, you were like, WTF.
Like, why then would, of all, like, that just the whole tubes and bats thing. Can we just move beyond this movie trope where bats are like always in an enclosed tube area and like,
yeah, that kind of
we get it. Let's move on. I don't know, man. There was just so many cliche like things that this movie did. Like, it was just like the best friend betrayal and like death of the death of like the love interest, and like the kids like making fun of him when he was a kid, and the bullies outside the window. First of all, like what kids are gonna stand outside the window all day and bully somebody? Like, I got better things to do, like throw rocks in a river and like fish or something. Like, I'm a kid in Greece. Why am I just standing outside this kid's window and roasting him all day? That makes no sense. Like, plot reasons, I guess.
Oh, and another thing. So they made him, like, they showed him accepting the Nobel Prize. He never he was never present to accept the Nobel Prize in the comics.
Yeah.
Because he was so weak, he could barely lift a teacup at that moment. And yet here he is, hobbling on stage, like, I will accept this award. Like, it was...
And there was like the pseudo reference to like the gifted school in New York, yes, too, like to the for like a split second we're like, and then like, oh, because like you realize quickly that that's never going to happen because this is Sony.
Yeah.
So yeah. Thank you for that.
It was just like so many things that you like. I'm usually not very critical of movies.
Yeah.
Like, usually I'm like, they were like, I was like, oh, it'd be good or be bad, blah, blah, blah. This one, there was such sheer disappointment. Like, I can't even begin to describe it. Like, I think for a lot, I typed in all caps. Yeah.
Oh, man.
So, the thing with this is, it kind of flops like a lot of Midnight Sun stuff. Like, I don't think we'll ever see Morbius in Midnight Suns, and that is really a shame because he plays a major role in the Midnight Suns, especially with everything that goes on with Lilith and the Lilin parasite and everything, especially because I think doesn't at one point like Martine become possessed by the Lilin parasite?
Yeah. She gets killed and she gets resurrected by it. Yeah.
So like, there's so much that goes on with that makes me just kind of. It's really disappointing because the Midnight Suns, I love those comics. I love that group of like the dark arts. Well, they're not all dark arts, but like dark
Right.
hearts, dark arts.
Dark arts. Yep, let's go.
I mean, they do all have dark hearts pretty much.
Yeah, they are. Yeah.
But like just that like mystical side and like the demon hunting and all this stuff. And like, we won't get to like, I doubt we'll see a lot of stuff with like Elsa, which makes me really sad because, you know, there's a lot of interaction with the Legion of Monsters. And like you said earlier with Man-Thing and Elsa, the Living Mummy. I mean, it's really disappointing because Elsa is another really great character. And she's an HBIC. Let's not get it twisted.
Yeah. Yeah. They shot themselves in the foot with this one.
They really did, because I kind of feel like it taints any crossover chance that maybe Kevin Feige would have with wanting to bring Morbius into the MCU for something, right? So
Yeah, you have to do some really like generic, cheesy, like there's going to be a mirrored version of Morbius now in the MCU version. They're going to be slightly different. Like if they want to do that, that would be the only way to save it. Or maybe more portal hopping, like I said, with a character like America Chavez, like maybe something to do with that. I don't. There's options for them to use to connect, but now they've made it harder, and now it's just more complicated.
They've made it really harder now.
They've made it harder. So now, like, you either got to go the extremely easy route, like, oh, just smash between worlds and portals, which is like, okay, whatever. Yeah, I guess you could do that, or like, I don't know. Like I said, mirror it. I don't know. It's forced. It felt forced. The whole movie just felt forced. There's one word I can use to describe the whole movie. It's forced.
It's very, and that's really sad because this movie was supposed to be released so long ago, right? And it kept getting pushed back and pushed back and pushed back and pushed back. So you're like building up anticipation and all of this stuff for this movie, and people who have read the Morbius comics or know Morbius from he's been on the Spider-Man animated series before as well, so know this character from things like that, are really involved in it because he is kind of an anti-hero. Yeah, he tries to every once in a while kill Spider-Man.
He's got quite the body count.
Yeah, he yeah.
For the review, he's got quite the body count. He's no innocent, but he's also he's an anti-hero, so that's expected.
And I mean, he does try to control the bloodlust that he has, but every so often he does lose control and go on a killing spree, and then Ghost Rider's usually called in to be like, "Whoa, buddy, chill out."
Yeah, or Blade. Him and Blade have like basically a married relationship. They're on again, off again throughout the entire time.
When Switchblade goes after him, that's a good one.
I'm telling you, man, they missed it. They could have had such a.
I think. I think Switchblade, like if they would do something to lead up to Switchblade, with all of that, that would have been. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, that would have been great, man. It would have been fantastic to have all that work out. But it's again, this is like what it's like. You have all this great material, and to see a studio with all of its resources fail to deliver on one at least cohesive, decent, deep story that of character development is disappointing. It really is. Like it's literally written for you already. All you have to do is go find it. Just pick and choose. I mean, and like I said, like, the one thing they got right was like the opening scene on the boat. Like they ripped that right out of the comic, which, like you said, even then they kind of messed that up. So it is frustrating, man. It really is, and especially as a fan, when you're just like, I love this part about the movie or this character, and then you go into the movie and you're like, wow, they just pooped all over that, didn't they?
It's basically like if you're a kid and you're about to open your Christmas present and someone's like, hey, let me see that. Boom, 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 boom. It smashes it and then gives it to you. Right?
Yeah. That's
essentially what it is.
Or they don't tell you it's IKEA and they're like, here, you assemble it. The movie felt like, here, you make it good in your head. Here's the pieces.
And that's just it. It's like, I like, even like looking back and trying to figure it out, like it did seem very rushed, very like choppy, very much like a made for TV movie where
Mm-hmm.
you're just kind of like, yo, what am I even
Mm-hmm.
watching?
Yeah.
So it fell short in so many ways. And
Yeah.
thank God Sony is not doing Blade. Thank goodness that is Marvel Studios.
For real, dude. Honestly, at this point, like, just, I guess
Nothing
we're just gonna have to endure.
nothing would make me rage harder, probably.
I don't know, man. They could make another Morbius. It could be. You they're not done yet. All right, they're
Oh,
not. They're far. We're getting Craven from Sony Studios, which made me very upset to
we
realize.
are. We are.
And
And
I internally crying because of it, because I love Craven as a character. But now I realize it's in Sony's hands,
it's in
which
Sony's hands. And just based off of the two Venom movies and this
yeah,
movie, I don't have a whole lot of faith in the Craven movie. And that makes me sad because Craven is another one of those very well, he's a very well-known villain. And like,
and a good one.
yeah,
He's a good one.
he really is.
He's a good one. He's cool, man. Craven's one of those, like, as a kid, I remember reading about Craven and seeing Craven in the show, the animated show, and I was like, that dude is a jerk, but he is still cool because he was able to track and like
Mhm.
hunt and like hand-to-hand combat with like Spider-Man and all these people getting he like just, with his crazy spear and like the lion's head mane around. He was just a cool character, man. And now I'm just like
Now just utter like
disappointment. I am
disappointment.
disappointed. Yeah, I am disappointed.
It
Yeah.
it's very it's disheartening. Like now I know what it feels like to be a DC fan.
Yeah. Yeah, like I said, man, welcome on in. Join us. Grab a cup of coffee and watch it just burn to the ground as you just laugh maniacally and cry at the same time. Oh god! At least Sony's animated stuff has been good, just like DC's
That is
animated
true.
stuff has been good. You know what I mean?
That
At
is
least,
very true.
even with that big block-headed kingpin that they had, it still
Dude, that
worked.
guy was so big.
It still
That
worked.
character he was a little bit too big.
He was huge. His finger was like the width of me. Ridiculous. Dude, he had like no neck either. It was just. Like, it was. I don't know. We'll see. I hope. Just one of two things that needs to happen. Kevin Feige needs to be like a senior like consultant on all future Sony projects,
He 100% does.
or they must Disney and Marvel on that side. They just retcon the whole Sony verse.
I mean, didn't he do that for the Spider-Man movies? Wasn't he a consultant for the Spider-Man movies? And that's
I
why
don't
I
remember.
want to
Maybe.
say he was.
Maybe.
I want to say he had like some oversight on that. And
Yeah.
I don't want to, yeah, he did. Okay. And I want to feel like that's why they were so successful because they
Mm-hmm.
made sense, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So,
Yeah, that's actually a really good point because they felt like they lost their way with for sure.
and that's what I'm saying. Like Feige has a vision, right?
Yeah,
Feige
yeah.
has a vision of what the Marvel Cinematic Universe should be. And therefore, whether it be Sony or whether it be Disney, he should have at least partial control over whatever
Yeah.
Sony does, and obviously all control over whatever Disney does because he's making them a crap ton of money, let's face it. So, I mean, I feel like if Feige wasn't there for the recent Spider-Man movies that we had, right? Homecoming, Far From Home, and No Way Home,
Mm-hmm.
I feel like they wouldn't have been successful. Like I feel like they would have been like potentially what we just watched. Maybe
Yeah,
not
no,
not as
yeah.
bad. Maybe not as bad, right?
Yeah, no, yeah, they need that. They need that touch, dude. That guy, he's yeah, like Grim said, he's a comic. Like you can tell, he's a comic fan.
Yeah.
So we need more of that. We need more.
And
We need more comic fans being like, hey, man, like I get what you want to do, but look what I've done. I clearly know what I'm talking about. List all movies here that I've done for Disney Marvel, and this is what you guys have done. And yeah, they're not good. So how about we let me
where,
have my influence because I
where,
make gold.
where he's like, my biggest flop was Thor: The Dark World.
Yeah, which right now looks amazing.
Right?
It's Oscar worthy right now compared to this, whatever this was, this play school dumpster fire of a Morbius movie, which was, it could have been any vampire movie, honestly.
And
it could have been any
that's
show.
That's the thing too, is like, I feel like Sony reads like the origin story of whatever character they're going with, and that's it. Like, they don't look at any other thing that the character is in to build like a tone or anything for the character, right? And I'm not saying this was like Leto's fault. I think Leto was dealt kind of a crappy hand.
Absolutely.
Because he's a phenomenal actor. He's had he didn't do so well with the Joker, but again, that wasn't his fault, because if you looked at the Snyder cut, he was much better Joker, there. Yeah. So I feel like Leto was dealt a crap hand here, and if he was given something else where there was like, you know, he had a sense of substance and a sense of like who Morbius was or is, it would have been a lot better. But like I feel like the writers of this just were like, oh, we're just gonna make him this like doctor who wants to save everybody and da 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 da, and turn him into a vampire.
Yeah. I mean, and you could have even done like, oh God, could you imagine like the doctor banter between Strange and Morbius?
Oh my God.
Just being pretentious doctors back and forth to each other. Like that's such a missed opportunity for such good banter. Like, we always talk about characters like that would have good dialogue. I would have loved to have seen that.
That would have been up there with like Deadpool and Moon Knight, right?
Like,
everything comes back to Moon Knight. Moon Knight
everything
and
comes back to Moon Knight. Well, and it's funny because I was just watching Blade Trinity, which again now looks great compared to Morbius. And they were in, I think they're in Egypt or whatever, and like they're in that pyramid, and they find that I guess he's like a vampire god, demigod or something, that like he's buried in Egypt.
Yeah, he's supposed to be Dracula.
Yeah.
But, yeah, don't even get me started on that. Don't even get me started on that.
Right, Dracula. Right, so we're just gonna move on from that little tidbit. But I was like, see, there's your tie into Moon Knight right there. They're in Egypt. Their whole thing, like, it's just there. It is. You could have done the interaction between Blade, Moon Knight, and freaking Morbius.
Well, and here's the thing too, and this is going to be kind of a throwback, but at the end of the original Blade movie, there is at the end there's a figure watching them on the rooftop when what's her face, Karen, I think her name's Karen, when she goes to cure herself or whatever, and there's a figure watching her and Blade, and that's Morbius. They wanted to make Morbius the villain for the second Blade movie.
Okay.
But they went a different route.
Imagine.
Mm-hmm. Because the director of that Blade movie was actually the guy, the shadow figure watching them, and that was Morbius. He was actually playing Morbius in that.
Look at that. See, I didn't know that. Look at that. See, Katie's the Blade Morbius Dracula person. That's her thing, man. That's I like I said, I gravitate more towards the side of stuff. Yeah, that's actually really cool. I didn't know that.
Mm-hmm.
That's really neat. Man, and that's the thing is I would have loved, like, again, them doing this, just severing all ties with what we wanted, man. It's just crushing to see the interactions they could have had with other characters and the cameos we could have gotten.
Yep.
Now we get this obscure ass Vulture, like, and then we're not gonna get Rhino. Like, Rhiner's just not in this, not in the Sony Sinister Six anymore. We're just gonna get, I guess, Venom's part of the Sinister Six now. Which, again, this is all conjecture and it's all like hypothetical, but it kind of feels like this is what they're leading up to. They're some kind of haphazard.
I feel like they are, right? Because they've already said that, like, Doc Ock. Well, that was Tobey Maguire's, so we could still get a Doc Ock, right?
Yeah.
But Mysterio is Tom Holland. Yeah. Electro is Amazing Spider-Man, but he's supposedly dead. So or maybe he's not because they cured him.
Maybe
Who
he's not.
knows?
Yeah.
So maybe that's how they're gonna get the anti-hero now, because he's cured, because
Plot reasons, because
plot reasons.
that's how Vulture ended up there anyway, because he
I
was the one who like got screwed up by Doctor Strange's spell, I guess is the reason.
I just you know what, Brandon, you might be right. They legit thought Michael Keaton was going to be a big cameo to save it. But
Yeah.
that's just the thing,
No.
though, is like, if they would need the cameo to make sense to save it. And that cameo, there was no saving it, because it makes no sense. It makes the kind of sense that doesn't. It's senseless. Like, I can't, like I said, I don't know if I was more pissed off about the post-credit scenes or the actual movie, because it made no sense whatsoever.
Yeah, it was like it's a great movie for kids. It's easy to follow if you want to introduce them to a Morbius character. If they like vampires or something like that, I will give it that.
Yeah.
But it's like I said, for a character that has a lot of depth, they sure as hell didn't do him justice, in my opinion. They just
They
didn't.
and it's like we said, like, I don't know what we watched, but it wasn't a movie about Morbius. It was a movie about, I don't know, a guy named Morbius who turns into
Yeah,
a
a vampire
vampire.
named Morbius. Yeah, yeah. It just happened to have his name in similar
Yeah.
origin story. It was a rough watch. I watched it though, but nah, I mean, it's there and there's nothing we can do about it. It exists. It happened. It's now we just have to just cope with it, I guess.
Yeah. So I'm really thinking then that I think Feige will probably do his own some sort of Midnight Suns then, and just
Yeah.
exclude Morbius from
Yeah,
it,
100%.
which is
Maybe we
really
get Dracula.
unfortunate. Oh, we're just gonna insert Dracula into the Midnight Suns like that?
Hey, since we're just inserting people into random universes, let's do it. I mean, we got Vulture over here. Why not?
I mean,
Let's do an amalgam movie. Let's do a DC Marvel crossover. Let's see it. I want to see Darkclaw. I want to see Bruce Wayne cross with Logan and Wolverine. Let's see that story.
Kingpin and Riddler. Let's go.
Yeah, let's go. I want to see all these things. I'm over it. Sony's busted it wide open. Let's just do it. Let's just run with it now. Let's just go 100% full bore. What is it? It's like Superboy and Spider-Man. He's like Spider-Boy or whatever.
Yeah.
Let's just do it. Let's just full send it. Full send into the amalgam verse. Yeah, dude. Yeah, and that's my one of my main issues, Verge, man. It's like a 90-minute movie. What story do you think you're going to tell about Morbius in 90 minutes? It's like what? What? It's gonna be good.
It's not gonna be what you
good.
think. No,
And it wasn't.
No, it was not. It was really quite terrible, actually. It hurt my soul.
Yeah.
Like, some movies melt my ice cold heart. That one just freezes it right back up. Like, it was so disappointing in so many ways. Like, everything. From the writing to just like the tone of the movie, just everything.
The editing wasn't even that good. And like, I gotta be honest with you, it felt really weird. It just, yeah, man. It just, I'm
telling you, I think the interns like did a whole lot with this.
Maybe this was the interns' time to shine, and they didn't. Been there, but like, such an interesting character, you know what? And I to its credit, it started out, you were like, okay, yeah, okay, yeah, and then like, about 30 minutes, 20 minutes, 30 minutes in, 30 minutes in, you're like, this is what they're doing, huh? Well, I've already started it. Might as well finish it. Like that's how it felt, and no movie should feel like that. That's the thing.
No.
Is you should wanna. It should be over, and you're like, oh my god, what happened? The movie was so good. What happened? I was time warped, and all of a sudden 4 hours of my life is gone because it was such a great movie. And that did not happen. This was very, very drawn out, and just you could predict it to the T.
It was bad.
Yeah.
It was bad. And yeah, that's the thing is like, as we mentioned before, like you always want the movie to keep going, right? Just like when you watch something like a show or a movie, like you want to watch the next episode or you can't wait for the sequel, right? You're like, what's going to happen next? This one, I'm like, my God, is it over yet? Like,
like they're done. Okay, cool. Can we never do that again? We just leave that be.
Like, I'm just happy I didn't pay like $20 for a ticket. Because that would have made me more upset, I feel like.
Yeah. It just. Yeah. Be exactly. You should want the movie to keep going. Yeah.
But yeah, this one I cannot really find any redeeming qualities for. And I did put out a fairly not nice
harsh tweet.
Yeah.
There was some words thrown on the Twitters from Katy, which rightfully so. Honestly, like as a fan, like it. Sometimes I'm being a dead horse here. You guys. It's frustrating.
It is.
It's frustrating when you're like a fan of something and they do it injustice.
It's frustrating and infuriating, and it you just feel like defeated, right? You're just kind of like, why?
Yeah.
So
you're like, no, clearly nobody cared about that movie, so neither am I. Like that's it's one of those attitudes, right? And you shouldn't have that feeling about something that you like. Like I felt that way about numerous Batman things. I'm just like.
I now know the pain that Drew feels when he watches a DC movie.
The Schumacher movies. Oh my god. Which, in all fairness, and I can't believe I'm saying this, they've actually aged kind of well. Like at least you can laugh at the campiness of those movies. Like you're like, this was such a weird time in the '90s where a stealth Batmobile needed neons, but whatever. It's so funny now. But like back in the day, I was raging about that as a kid. Even as a kid, I was like, makes no sense. Makes no sense. Why is he rolling around with neons? This is dumb. Which his kids had a hand in that movie, which kind of feels like kids wrote this movie too. Maybe that's what it was. Because it came out later that Schumacher's kids had a huge influence on those movies, which is why they turned out the way they did. So maybe, no offense to the director, but whoever your kid is, they should not have given you advice for the movie.
No.
If that's the case here.
Yeah. I don't know.
I'm not saying I could do better. I'm not going to sit here and be like, I could do better and make a better movie because I can't. No. I don't even know where to start. But I can read comics and understand where a character comes from.
Yes. And at least, take an actual villain, man. Come on.
Yeah, there was out of all the villains to choose from, why make up one? I mean, and I'm saying that as like Moon Knight literally made up a villain. But like, actually, I just contradicted myself. I'm gonna shut up.
Well, we don't totally know that yet, though. There might be a little bit of a made up character, but
I don't know. I'm ready to. You know what I'm ready for? I'm ready for the MCU to do a tongue-in-cheek roast of Morbius in one of their movies.
Oh my god, I hope they do. And you know what I hope it is? I hope it's in the Blade movie.
Yes.
I hope it's in the Blade movie.
So do I.
Or I hope it's in Dracula, if they ever make Dracula. And I hope one of them is like, well, at least I didn't make myself a vampire.
I hope it's in the Blade movie, and I hope it's a cameo with Wesley Snipes just being Wesley Snipes and talking crap about the Morbius movie. That's what I hope. That would make this movie so much better. If we get Wesley Snipes talking crap about this Morbius movie, no, I would love it.
I got you one better. Who is the king of roasting other comic characters? Deadpool.
Oh, have Ryan Reynolds just go in on Morbius and Jared Leto. Oh, that would be fantastic. Oh, oh, yes, dude. Yes. Yes, I'm all about that.
I am all about it.
I would love that.
And he would be the perfect one to do it.
Okay, here's the shot. Here's the shot. You got Wade and you got Mark Spector on the couch together eating popcorn, and they're watching the Morbius Sony movie, just roasting the ever living crap out of it together, just talking mad crap about it and throwing popcorn at the screen, just like, it doesn't make any sense. This is terrible.
Wait. And then Korg walks in. Korg walks in, right? He's like, asks us if any of them want to play Fortnite. New Master 69 is being a jerk again.
It's actually one of Moon Knight's personalities.
Yes!
There it is. There it is. Oh, man. It was. We just look. We're making Morbius better. Look. Give us a job, Sony. Sony, let us make movies.
I know, right? Listen, I'm down, right? Look, all you need to pay me in is like enough for like shoes and beer. Okay, that's all I ask for.
Oh, jeez. Yeah, this would be. They dropped the ball.
They really did.
Drop the ball. They had it. Like I said, they had everybody with the hype train for Sony was good. It was good. They had a good name in PR up until this movie.
It was, and they were coming off the No Way Home, right? So it was, then, right?
Yeah. They fell with no safety net off this one.
No, they did not. Not one little bit. And I don't know if I can, like you said before, beat a dead horse any further.
Yep. I think that's all I have to say about that.
But yeah, thank you guys so much for listening to our review on Morbius. We really appreciate it. Thanks for hanging out. As always, you can catch us live every Tuesday night at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time in the Candyland Discord. And if you can't make the recording, well, you can catch the upload every Friday at 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Anchor, and YouTube. Thanks for hanging out, guys. Bye!